Hello and welcome to Online Storytime. I'm Officer Tom DeFrank with the Bethlehem Police Department, and today we're going to read a story called Officer Buckle and Gloria. It's a really cool book. I've read it a bunch of times and it's always fun to read it, so I hope you like it too. Let me put my glasses on and we'll start with this book, Officer Buckle and Gloria. Officer Buckle knew more safety tips than anyone in Knappville. Every time he thought of a new one, he thumbtacked it to his bulletin board. And it just so happens that he put up safety tip number 77. It says, never stand on a swivel chair. Because you can see what happens. There's Officer Buckle. There's the chair. It's going way over there. Never stand on a swivel chair. Officer Buckle would share his safety tips with the students over at Knappville School. Problem was, nobody ever listened. Sometimes, all he heard was snoring. For some reason, people didn't think safety tips were very important. So there they are, sleeping in their seats. After Officer Buckle did his speech, things just seemed to be like they typically were. He's walking through the school, and look, Mrs. Topple, the principal, took down the welcome banner since Officer Buckle was already there. He said, never stand on a swivel chair, but Mrs. Topple didn't listen. Look at her. She's way up there on that chair. Can you imagine what's going to happen? Then one day, Knappville's police department bought a police dog named Gloria. So when it was time for Officer Buckle to give his safety speech at the school, Gloria went along. She even got to ride in the front seat of the police car. So then when they got to the school, children, this is Gloria, Officer Buckle told everybody. Gloria obeys my commands. Look at this. He said, Gloria, sit. And Gloria sat down, paying attention. So Officer Buckle did his speech. And he went through all his safety tips. He said, safety tip number 1, keep your shoelaces tied. Well, this time, everybody is looking up and staring at Officer Buckle and Gloria, paying attention to everything that he said. And even Officer Buckle checked to see if Gloria was paying attention. And she was. Look, she's sitting. Safety tip number 2, said Officer Buckle. Always wipe up spills before someone slips and falls. The children's eyes popped. Gloria's helping him do his speech so that people could see that it's not safe to do that stuff. Officer Buckle checked on Gloria again. Good dog, he said, because there she is. Officer Buckle thought of a safety tip he had discovered that morning and says, never leave a thumbtack where somebody could sit on it. Because look what happens. There goes Gloria, way up in the air. The audience roared. They loved it. Officer Buckle grinned. He said the rest of the tips with plenty of expression. The children clapped their hands and cheered. Some of them laughed until they cried. Officer Buckle was very surprised. He had never noticed how funny safety tips could be. After this safety speech, things were better. There wasn't a single accident at Knappville School, thanks to Officer Buckle and Gloria. The next day, an enormous envelope arrived. It was more like a bag, and it was stuffed with thank you letters from the students at the Knappville School. And they're all the way from here, all the way to over here. Every letter had a drawing of Gloria on it, and Officer Buckle thought that the drawing showed a lot of imagination. His favorite was written on a star-shaped piece of paper, and it said, you and Gloria make a good team, and was signed your friend, Claire. And she even said, I always wear a safety helmet when she's riding her bike. Officer Buckle was thumbtacking Claire's letter to his bulletin board when the phone started ringing. Grade schools and high schools and daycare centers were calling about this safety speech he did. Officer Buckle, they said, our students want to hear your safety tips, and please bring along that police dog named Gloria. So Officer Buckle told his safety tips to 313 different schools. And everywhere he went, along with Gloria, all the kids sat up and they listened. They paid attention. That place and at that place. And after every speech, Officer Buckle took Gloria out for ice cream. Officer Buckle loved having a buddy. And it looks like Gloria liked ice cream with sprinkles on it, because it's way over here, you can see. Then one day, a television news team videotaped Officer Buckle in the State College Auditorium, a very special place. Big stage, there's Officer Buckle and Gloria talking to all these people about safety tips. When he finished safety tip number 99, which just happens to be, do not go swimming during electrical storms, the students jumped to their feet and applauded. Bravo, bravo, they cheered. Officer Buckle bowed again and again. And there's Gloria too. That night, Officer Buckle watched himself on the 10 o'clock news. That's awful special, to make the news. And Gloria's there too, watching. The next day, the principal of Knapville School telephoned the police station. Good morning, Officer Buckle. It's time for our safety speech. But Officer Buckle frowned. I'm not giving any more speeches, he said. Nobody looks at me anyway. And she says, oh, said Mrs. Topple. Well, how about Gloria? Could she come? Just Gloria? So, somebody else from the police station gave Gloria a ride to the school. So it was just Gloria up on stage. But look, Gloria's up on stage, but she's looking kind of lonely. Just by herself. And then there wasn't much going on. So all of a sudden, Gloria fell asleep. And everybody else fell asleep. Nobody's paying attention. And everybody's probably wondering, where's Officer Buckle? Well, after that, Knapville School had a really big accident because people weren't paying attention. It all started with a puddle of banana pudding, which, as you know, gets very slippery. And then from there, everybody's slipping and falling, and there's banners falling, and then there's hammers and nails and thumbtacks. Terrible thing. I wonder if maybe they learned a lesson. And maybe they did, because on this next page, it says, the next morning, a pile of letters arrived at the police station. Every letter had a drawing of the big accident, banana pudding included. Officer Buckle was shocked. At the bottom of the pile, there was a note written on a paper star. And it made Officer Buckle smile because it said, Gloria missed you yesterday. Signed, your friend, Claire. And she also wrote, don't worry, I was wearing my helmet, which just happens to be safety tip number 7. So at least somebody paid attention. But they realized that Officer Buckle was important too. And Gloria gave Officer Buckle a big kiss on the nose. And Officer Buckle gave Gloria a nice pat on the back. Then Officer Buckle thought of the bestest safety tip ever. Safety tip number 101. Always stick with your buddy. Because everybody needs a friend, somebody to help them out. So you never have to be by yourself, and if there's somebody to help you, that is the coolest thing ever. And that brings us to the end of the book. So I'm glad you paid attention. I hope you like it. And now it's time to sign off.